Here we are at Eventful Acres, a horse park owned by Rod and Karen Hiskin. It's their private property. They live here, but there's about a 35-acre backyard which they have turned into a playground for horses. There are cross-country jumps like this one here, a variety of this water hazard, and there are two fields, one with a lot of trees in and one virtually treeless, with jumps all over them. Well, this is also a place which would be a great place to bring a vintage tractor. And today we're not here to see horses, we're here to see vintage tractors because it's a big event called Tractor Days at Eventful Acres. So let's go and check it out. Unfortunately, the weather has not been kind to us. As you can see, we've had about 1.5 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. And this is the result. There's a tractor there being raffled, $1 a ticket, win the tractor. And back there you can see more of this beautiful property, and there's a lineup of old tractors there. And people seem determined to have some fun regardless. So let's go keep looking. Later on this afternoon we're going to be having some tractor games. And here's the arena, which is usually used for setting up stadium jumps for horses. Don't know what's going to go on here, but we'll check it out later. Let's see, this is, I guess, what you call a steam traction engine, all fired up and ready to go. Let's take a look around the static display. A lot of tractors, green ones, red ones, more green ones, more red ones. 330 or so. A whole lineup of John Deeres here. Here's something you don't see every day. Here's a tractor with Caterpillar tracks at the back, and sort of a metal wheel at the front, and it seems to be steered by chain. There's a sort of a drum around the top of the front wheel, and there's a chain which kind of goes down there, then you can just see it going along here, and then past the engine and the gas tank, and then somehow it must connect up to this steering wheel here. Here's a tractor that looks like it was a manufacturer's error. Either that or it was used for oval track racing, but I suspect, I'm being facetious here, I think this was designed for a particular purpose, perhaps being used on sloping ground. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Rod about that. Now if we move along the line a little bit to see what else we have. Here's another one of those kind of off-kilter ones. And yet another one. This one says it was made in 1940, so whatever purpose they were designed for, there was obviously quite a demand for them. And here's one that, well, it's got this giant wheels at the back and just this tiny little wheel at the front. Again, I'm sure that's adequate to the purpose for which it was designed, but it looks kind of odd. Now here's one I like. I like the spoke rear wheel, and it just kind of looks handsome, freshly painted but not too blingy. And here's a pretty big one. That driver's seat must be nearly 6 feet off the ground. So this thing probably got quite a bit of power. It has all twin wheels at the front. Like the one next to it, which comes with the optional extra umbrella. Here's another one similar to the one we just looked at, a farm wall, but this one has a proper front axle. And as you can see, there's a beautiful wagon behind it, which is probably capable of holding about 45 bouncing kids, but they're kind of absent today. I think they're all staying inside because of the weather. But the owners and their families around here, and they all seem to be having a good time, especially in the barbecue tent. Now I'm guessing, but I think this tractor may be one of the ones owned by Rod Hiskin, the owner of the property and the founder of this event, because I know he regularly does hay rides for children. And here's the perfect hay ride truck. Doesn't that look good? I'm afraid this is what happens when you've got weather this bad. it's pretty hard to read the sign, whereas this guy over here has kind of anticipated the problem, and we have a much more hard-wearing and rain-resistant sign. Here we are still in the John Deere section, and there's a whole line here of John Deere tractors that look very similar. They just seem to vary in the wheel arrangement at the front, and I guess in some of the other fixtures and fittings, but they look like they all have the same basic chassis and engine. Here's one that definitely is owned by Rod Hiskin. It says so on the label. And as you can see, he's got a much more sophisticated top for a smokestack, which I'm guessing is something to do with keeping the rain out. Here's another look at the general property. You can see we really had a lot of rain here, and I'm sure that Rod is keeping the tractors mostly I had to shut up there. Mostly on the hard sand here, which is used for stadium jumping for the horses, because he doesn't want them tearing up this beautiful grass. But as you can see, there's more vehicles parked over here, and here we have a nice old truck. Now I don't know if tractors are like horses, but this one could be a mare and foal. Now I've got a shot of this one because it's actually for sale, and it gives you an idea of what it costs to have a toy like this. This one says it's for sale for $6,000, and it looks in really sharp condition. Here's another lineup of these McCormick Farm Orals, who seem to come in red the way John Deere's come in green. It may be their signature color. Now we're out here in the boonies, and I found this lineup of 3 tractors here, which you couldn't really call glamorous, but I think they're very attractive and endearing. This little fellow here, check out the wheels on this. This one, well, all these 3 tractors are over 80 years old. This one, it says, is a 1922, and the one next to it is a 1924. It's much bigger. It's got perforated wheels. And finally this one, which has wheels similar to the little one, different design, but obviously give extra traction on, I guess, mud. This one's a 1930, is it? I can't quite read it. So maybe it's not quite 80 years old, but it could have its 80th birthday this year. None of these tractors has been glammed up or given fresh paint, at least not recently. And I think they just look really good the way they are. Here comes Rod, the owner of the property, on one of his John Deeres. Wave to me, Rod. Looking very good. Exposed flywheel on that one. You want to watch your fingers. Here's a hair ride truck, which I don't think is going to see much action today. The hay bales are covered with tarp. And these are some of the businesses and people who sponsor this event. And I'm sure we're all grateful that they do. It's probably couldn't happen without them, and it's really great.